How's it, everybody? Welcome back to the Nomasburg region. Sanctum Gamer here. It is episode, what are we on, 29 now, and we are still pushing strong on this new town that we are building. Now, very quickly, Airports DLC just came out, I know that, and people might be asking why in the world am I putting out a zoo video? Well, the honest answer is I am not feeling very inspired to build an airport just yet. I've got the airport DLC, I have fidgeted around with it a bit, but the motivation to build an airport isn't quite there yet. And for some odd reason, I had a massive thing that I wanted to build a zoo over here. So I'm putting out a zoo. When I'm going to build an airport, I am not entirely sure. I have already identified where I want my airports to go, both in Nomasburg and in my City of Tando series, but I just haven't got to the point where my fingers quite want to do it yet. So I am going to put it off until then, until the motivation and the inspiration is there, so that hopefully I will put out a good airport instead of just an airport. But the cool thing is there are lots and lots and lots of airports currently being showcased on the various media, so definitely treat yourselves to it. But today we will be working on a zoo on the other side of this rail yard, so we're gonna break it up a bit. I didn't want this place to be completely dense residential spaces or commercial areas, but I wanted this green zoo to sit amidst all of this chaos that is happening. But this is not going to be some pretty lavish zoo or anything like that. I'm trying to build a zoo that is in line with the type of town that we're building, so one that is kind of running down as well. I want it to look like it is, though it is still being used, it's still an active zoo. A lot of places are still a bit run down, but nothing so bad that, you know, having animals here would be some kind of a risk or anything like that. Just the odd places are not very well maintained. So if you look at this place where I've got this water source, it is heavily overgrown. I've got a lot of the dirt decals lining all over the place, just to show that there's a lot of wear that is happening in certain places, whereas other areas are not being so well maintained. So the grass growth is going completely out of control. So that's the major vibe that I wanted to go with when it comes to the zoo. In these areas where the parking lots are and the entrance, I wanted it to look a lot more run down, so I got these decals in place with like the cracked road texture, and I think it captures that beaten down look quite a lot. Now, another thing I wanted for this zoo is for it to be quite compact, so I didn't want to have a lot of massive open spaces, lots of grassy areas that people would sit and just have plenty of space. Instead, I wanted it to be a very tight zoo where everything is built on top of everything else. Well, not on top of, but things are fairly close together, and where nothing has been built, so there's no animal enclosure in any area. There is overgrowth in the grass, and then the actual landscape in this entire area is it's got a bit of elevation differences, so it actually made for a nice playable area, because I love it when the terrain is not too straight, because then you really get to do all kinds of funky stuff. So like a place like this where I wanted this path to cross the road to the other side, there isn't really too much space for it to go to, right? We couldn't build a straight bridge going up, so I wind the road around to get enough elevation on it to cross the road. But then in the little space that sits now between the footpath and the road coming into the airport towards the top of the screen, they squeezed this building in there, and they've now got another enclosure going. So that's the vibe that I was going for. Really wanted to get that compact feeling. I didn't put too many flowers and well manicured lawns or anything in this area, because again, I wanted the whole place to give that rundown effect. And then things like your gift shops and the toilets, I put them fairly close to the exits, mainly because, especially with the gift shops, you want people to spend their money as they are leaving, right? That's as they're coming in and as they are leaving, that's the one place that they're all going to go through. So I keep them close to the entrances, and yeah, people will be buying stuff from there. So we're gonna continue this vibe with the zoo. We're gonna work as best as we can with the terrain and keep everything nice and compact. Put a lot of decals down to make the place look a bit more worn and a little bit more run down. Cool. So that's the vibe of this zoo. There isn't really much else for me to say, so I'm going to keep quiet, let some music play, and I'll come in a bit later and chat with you a little bit more. So around here, I just wanted to build something slightly different. One of those changes to the landscape. So I kind of figured, because this whole town is quite industrial, there was a spot here where there's this giant tank, and this is some kind of private land, and whoever owns this land was just like, no, I'm not gonna sell this thing to you. And so the builders of this had to build a zoo in and around this place, and I like this little touch. I think it adds a bit more realism, where you see big projects like this being built around, stubborn people who just refuse to sell their land, and they're just gonna hold on to it no matter what. And this person has held onto this piece of land, not to do anything interesting with it, but just to leave this giant tank and beat up cars just sitting there just because they can, showing truly how stubborn they can be about their land. Okay, so exciting news. My content creator pack is finally out. I collaborated with Paradox Interactive to bring you a new CCP that consists of 8 brand new maps that you're not going to find anywhere else except in this CCP. But these maps are available not just to our PC players, but they're also available to console players. So you can head over to Steam and grab yours if you're on PC, or if you're on console, head over to your console stores and you'll also be able to grab them there. I've left a link in the description to the Steam Workshop page where you can grab yours. So if you want to show some support for me and the channel, I mean, you already show a lot of support by turning out week in, week out to watch my videos. But if you want to support me additionally, please head over to your stores, grab the pack. I will really appreciate it. Whatever you build, if you post anything on social media, feel free to tag me. I would love to see what you all come up with. I'm sure there is a map in there that will appeal to pretty much every single person. So yeah, I hope you enjoy these maps and I really can't wait to see what you all build on it. So lastly, around here, I thought I would put a stop for some public transportation. So this is a bus stop that will connect up the zoo to other areas in the town, and I'll see if I will do an external connection. I'm not sure. It'll probably be local to this town. External connections will go to the bus station that we built in the last episode, and we'll probably have a local route that will have a stop over here at the zoo. So I quite like the beaten down looks that I think I got quite nicely. The parking lot that I built just to the bottom right of the screen there with all the cracked decal assets, I think make the whole place look quite nice. And then here I put this shelter cover over the road just to give, well, not over the road, over the bus stop when it actually happens. There we go. And then I managed to put these decals on top of it as well to give it also a nice beaten down look, which I thought was fantastic. I liked it so much that I went and actually did the same thing to the shelters that are covering the bus station from the last episode. So yeah, that is it. This is my old zoo. I think it is a pretty cool looking zoo. Turned out really well. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this, please give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment on telling me what you enjoyed, what you would like to see in future builds. And I don't know, I think we can get a backstory for this. So I'll leave the channel open in the Discord server. If you want to give a story for this zoo, get on there, drop a story, and I will definitely credit you for it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you will all show up again in the next one. Cheers, everybody.